I'm Daniel Barenboim, and I would like to welcome you to this episode about the Brahms' first piano concerto. This will be a 5-minute chat about this masterpiece. The first piano concerto of Brahms starts with a huge orchestral introduction. The orchestra at full force. The music then developed, gets a little bit more lyrical, again dramatic, back and forth, and then comes down to a more feeling of more permanent lyricism, and this is where the piano comes in. A long way from and it is this contrast that is permanently there in this work. Brahms wrote it when he was very young and didn't write a second one until many years later when he had maybe mellowed. But the dramatism of this is something quite extraordinary and something that excites me every time I play or conduct this piece. We have in the first movement usually what we call a second subject, a second theme, which is usually in contrast to the first theme. And the piano plays this. The second movement starts very quietly and is throughout a very quiet movement. Some would say almost a religious atmosphere predominates. And this climate, this quiet climate, very introspective, runs through the whole second movement. That's why the surprise when the third movement starts, which is a very lively, almost gypsy music, the contrast is enormous. And this piece is so fascinating because usually you have concertos where the orchestra plays a minor role, a role of accompanying the piano. Or sometimes you have concertos where the piano is not so important. But here you have a dialogue on equal basis. And it is really one of the most wonderful pieces in the repertoire. I have recorded this piece many times. The first time in 1967, but of course I am very attached to the most recent one, which I recorded with the Staatskapelle in Berlin, and the conductor for whom I have great affection and admiration, Gustavo Dudamel. It was a great pleasure for me to be able to do that with such a young person with such a musical talent. In any case, I hope you have enjoyed this episode. I look forward to welcoming you for the next episode. Of course, you can write your comments, and in your comments, please write also if you have any suggestions or requests of any particular piece of music you would like me to talk about.